Hi and welcome back guys, thank you for watching. Today we're gonna talk about inflation. Inflation is everywhere, in every country, in every city, in every household there is inflation. The last 10 years we have seen inflation going up and up and up. Many of the central banks are underestimating the real inflation, but we as consumers and we as investors are feeling it in our day-to-day lives. It's not only that prices are getting higher and higher, it's also the other cost of living. Our investments are going up pretty hard as well, but do we beat inflation? That's the question. If you're a dividend growth investor, like I am, and like this channel is about, then inflation is really important to know. Why? You want your dividends to at least be more than the inflation in your country. How do we know what the inflation is? Well, we need to have a look at our own. For me, I live in the Netherlands. They say the inflation target is around 2%, which is the same in all the other European countries that are under the EU flag, and it's the same that the Fed wants in America. Is it 2%? I highly doubt it. If I look to my own expenses, I see that this year, for instance, 1 kilo of chicken has go up in price between 1 and 2 euros. It used to be 5 to 6 euros, it's now around 7 to 8, and that's not even the most expensive one. You will see everywhere around you that prices are going up. Some are going harder than others, and it's therefore that we need to do some education to ourselves. Why? You want to aim for at least a 4 to 5% dividend rate, because if inflation is 2%, and I don't think it is, I think it's a bit higher, you need to at least get 2%. But you want to build a buffer in that as well. So let's say inflation is 3%, then if you get around 4 to 5%, you have 1 to 2% that you make each and every year. Yes, of course, prices of the stocks go up and down as well, but keep in mind, you hear it lately more and more in the news that inflation is hitting us. It's all around, and you will see prices going up and up and up, and you hear more and more talks of a recession coming or a correction coming. For me, in the Netherlands, we hear everything about the Brexit. That's gonna hit us pretty hard because we get another plastic tax and inflation will pick up because the European Central Bank needs to print more money. And the whole QE program, it is basically inflation in a few years. They print it now, so you get more money and prices go up. And that's very important for me because I need to adapt my investments to that. For America, it's a bit different. You on the moment don't have a QE program, but on the other hand, you have a shadow QE program because they call it the repo market for you. The repo market, they pump billions and billions to trillions in it to save the banks, because if they don't do it, the interest rates will be too high and the debt won't be servable. It is very important that you adapt your dividend growth portfolio so that you have a strong fundamentals and that it can go on. Of course, they go up and down, and it doesn't matter. I mean, if prices go lower, we can buy more. It's all about the dollar cost average. But it is really important that we do not just blindly buy stocks that go up and down. You need to do your homework. You need to check which one is best for your situation. And that situation can be different in the Netherlands, it can be different in the USA, it can be different in Canada, everywhere. One thing is for sure, everyone has inflation. But how much inflation? It is different per country. But it is really important to have a look to it, because the more money there is in the system, the higher the prices go. And that is something worldwide. So let's hop over to my stock advice for this week. My first pick for this week is ExxonMobil. The last few years ExxonMobil has underperformed big time. But this can change in 2020. Not only are there more refineries and systematic things coming online that turn positive for them, it's also the world in a big picture. If you look to Iran at the moment, there's a lot of turmoil around there, and that makes crude oil going up and down, which in turn makes gasoline prices going up and down. Then if you look to China, they are having a massive shortage and they are importing more and more oil, and that will become higher and higher. And there is so much potential for ExxonMobil to pick some nice profits there. You have Royal Dutch Shell that is going to invest more in renewables, and they're selling some refineries in the US, and it's going to be ExxonMobil that's going to pick them up. That's for sure. So they have a lot of upside potential. Their dividend yield is 5%, which is perfect. It's way above inflation. And I see their growth potential. I think at the end of 2020 they can be around 80, maybe even $85 a piece. So that's my first pick of the week. Let's hop over to my second, Activision Blizzard. I've invested in this one before and I sold out of them. But at the moment there's a lot of upside potential. Why? The new games that are coming out are great and you will see revenue going up. Also, they dropped down pretty hard because, well, they basically messed up big time with BlizzCon announcing that Diablo was going to be mobile, but they finally turned around this year with BlizzCon and they promised us that Diablo is coming, and you have a lot of more games that are coming out, and the whole system is changing for the better. They have got a lot of jobs, which I think is sad because you might get lesser games, but they promise with the AI and everything that it won't be less, it will be better. It's just less expensive for them to make, so there's more profits. And they started to pay dividend. They do that for a few years now, but they're growing it almost every year now. It's only 37 cents or, well, 0.63%, but it is a company that is growing hard, and I think there's a lot of upside potential. It is a bit more risky, but there's something to it, and I would suggest you have a look into it. It's my opinion. It's not a must buy. It's just an advice. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will hope to see you next week. Please like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you very much and have a nice week.